So now we will discuss the role of hemoglobin in gas transport. Transport of both gases between the external and internal respiration sites is necessary for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Despite the fact that oxygen is more soluble in blood than carbon dioxide, both gases need a specialized transport system in order for the majority of the gas molecules to move from the lungs to other tissues. The majority of oxygen molecules are transported by a specialized transport system that depends on the erythrocyte, or red blood cell, from the lungs to the body's tissues. Hemoglobin, a metalloprotein found in erythrocytes, serves to bind oxygen molecules to the erythrocyte. The red iron containing pigment and flattened disc like red blood cells in the blood are in charge of carrying oxygen and carbon dioxide gases. Oxygen is primarily transported through the blood by erythrocytes. These cells contain metalloprotein called hemoglobin. The iron containing portion of hemoglobin, known as Heme, is responsible for binding oxygen. Each hemoglobin molecule can carry up to 4 oxygen molecules because each hemoglobin molecule contains iron containing Heme molecules. Oxygen diffuses into the red blood cell and is bound by hemoglobin as it travels across the respiratory membrane from the alveolus to the capillary. The formation of oxyhemoglobin, the byproduct of oxygen binding to hemoglobin, is described by the following reversible chemical reaction. The oxyhemoglobin is a bright red colored molecule that contributes to the bright red color of oxygenated blood. The hemoglobin plus the oxygen, it reverses into oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin in this formula stands for reduced hemoglobin or hemoglobin without oxygen bound to it. The subsequent sections will go over the various factors that affect how easily heme binds to and separates from oxygen. Carbon dioxide is transported by three major mechanisms. The first mechanism of carbon dioxide transport is by blood plasma, as some carbon dioxide molecules dissolve in the blood. The second mechanism is transported in the form of bicarbonate, which also dissolves in plasma. The third mechanism of carbon dioxide transport is similar to the transport of oxygen by erythrocytes. Oxygenated blood is carried to the tissues. The peripheral gas exchange refers to the gas exchange occurring at the tissue level. The body's tissues receive oxygen-rich blood from the circulatory system's capillaries. This oxygen diffuses into tissues through the capillary walls. The carbon dioxide then diffuses from tissues into the blood. The blood's hemoglobin is bound by the carbon dioxide that has diffused into the blood to form carboxyhemoglobin. This deoxygenated blood is carried to the lungs for purification. Hemoglobin then is left behind in the lungs after carboxyhemoglobin dissociates to the released carbon dioxide. Hemoglobin continues the cycle by transporting carbon dioxide from tissues to the lungs and oxygen from the lungs to the tissues.